Imagine for just a moment that the very air around you carries messages too subtle for the eye, too delicate for the ear, yet undeniable to the spirit. Have you ever wondered if the strange flicker of light in the corner of your vision was more than coincidence, or if that sudden chill that brushed your skin was not the wind, but the nearness of something unseen? Here is a truth that may shake the foundation of how you see your life. Angels may already be walking beside you, guiding your every step, whispering warnings in your dreams, and orchestrating encounters that shape your destiny. What if the missed accident, the perfect timing, the feeling of safety you couldn't explain? What if all of it was no accident, but a sign that divine messengers were protecting you? Stay with me, because the deeper we go, the more these signs will reveal a secret world that most people overlook. If you watch closely until the end, you may recognize moments in your own life where angels reached out to you in ways you never realized, and by unlocking this awareness, you will begin to see the invisible hand of God moving in places you thought were ordinary. But I must warn you, what comes next may change the way you look at every coincidence, every dream, every moment of silence you've ever experienced. It begins with presence, a presence that cannot be measured by sight or sound, but by the strange weight of the atmosphere around you. People describe it as goosebumps, a tingling along the spine, or even the unmistakable sense that they are not alone. And here is where science and mystery collide. Studies of electromagnetic fields show that the human body reacts strongly to unseen energy shifts, yet these moments are often dismissed as random. But what if those sudden energy shifts are actually the wings of angels brushing past you? Think of the last time you were startled awake at night, heart pounding as if someone had called your name. Could it have been your guardian, shaking you from a dream that was drifting toward danger? Or that uncanny instant where you looked up just in time to avoid disaster? Was that your instinct? Or was it divine intervention guiding your body before your mind could comprehend? The next part will surprise you even more, because once you recognize these subtle touches, you will start to notice them everywhere, as if the unseen has been waiting for you to pay attention all along. Then there are the whispers. Those quiet nudges in your thoughts that arrive out of nowhere. They don't sound like thunder, but like intuition sharpened to a blade. Scientists call it subconscious processing, but mystics call it angelic guidance, a voice that tells you not to take that road, to call that friend, to delay your plans just by a minute. And when you obey, you find you have escaped something you could not have predicted. How many times has a last-minute change altered the entire course of your day? Coincidence? Or is it the sign of an angel steering you clear of danger? What comes next may change how you see the sky forever, because ancient traditions from Judaism to Christianity, Islam to Zoroastrianism, all describe angels as messengers of destiny, weaving divine will into the threads of human choices. And if so many cultures across continents and centuries speak of the same phenomenon, can we really dismiss it as myth? The next revelation uncovers a secret very few people know. Sometimes angels do not only whisper in thought, they speak in dreams. Dreams, those landscapes where logic dissolves and symbols rule. What if your dreams are not just random firings of the brain, but a secret language through which angels reveal warnings and promises? Imagine the dream where you saw light shining down a narrow path, guiding you away from shadows that pursued you. Or the recurring image of a winged figure appearing whenever you faced despair. Dreams have guided kings, prophets, and warriors throughout history, and in every case, divine messengers carried hidden knowledge through symbols. Modern neuroscience may call them archetypes of the subconscious, but could it be that the subconscious is simply the veil angels use to communicate truths too pure for waking words? And here's where it becomes more mysterious, Some dreams are not symbolic at all, but direct encounters, visions so vivid that upon waking you still feel the warmth of a hand on your shoulder or hear the echo of a voice calling your name. And when you wake, your life seems shifted, as though the dream carried a mission, a divine assignment that you can no longer ignore. But angels are not confined to inner whispers and secret dreams. They step into the physical world in ways that defy explanation. Have you ever noticed patterns that seem to call to you? Repeated numbers like 111 or 444 appearing on clocks, receipts, and signs. Skeptics call it selective attention, but spiritual traditions interpret them as codes, reminders that you are not abandoned. The ancient Hebrews believed numbers carried divine messages, and even in Christian tradition, numbers like 7 and 12 carry cosmic significance. Imagine then that angels still use numbers as signals, placed where your eyes will catch them, a trail of breadcrumbs left in plain sight. Or consider the sudden appearance of feathers where no birds fly, or a butterfly resting on your shoulder just when you prayed for comfort. These are not random, for nature itself bends to the will of the unseen, aligning at just the right moment to reassure the troubled heart. But the next part is even more mysterious, because angels sometimes reveal themselves not through symbols, but through people. Think back to a stranger you met only once, who arrived at the exact moment you needed them, spoke words that calmed your fear, and then disappeared as if they were never there. Entire testimonies across the world tell of angels in disguise, human figures who appear during accidents, natural disasters, or moments of despair, only to vanish without explanation. In the Bible, Abraham entertained angels thinking they were men. Could it be happening even now, that the kind voice of a stranger may in fact be the intervention of heaven cloaked in human form? And here is where the mystery deepens. Angels do not always arrive as saviors in glowing light. They sometimes appear as trials, tests of compassion, disguised as the beggar, the wanderer, the forgotten soul. What if every choice you make toward kindness is a hidden examination? A way of proving whether you can recognize the divine even when it is clothed in humility. The next revelation may shake you, because if angels can appear as people, then every human encounter could be far more sacred than you ever imagined. And yet, their protection is not only gentle. There are moments where angels fight. Ancient texts speak of angelic hosts battling in unseen realms, guarding nations, and resisting forces of darkness that humans cannot perceive. What if the sudden shift in your spirit, the sense of relief after intense fear, the clearing of an oppressive heaviness in the room, was the residue of a battle fought on your behalf? Imagine forces of shadow drawing near, only to be met by a warrior of light whose sword you cannot see, but whose victory you can feel in the sudden peace that follows. The book of Daniel describes Michael the archangel as one who wars for God's people, and Revelation depicts angelic hosts triumphing over the dragon. Could it be that every time you survived what should have destroyed you, a battle had been fought in the unseen, and you were spared because of their vigilance? But the next part may open your eyes wider still, because angels do not protect you only from external threats, they protect you from yourself. Have you ever been spared by a mistake that somehow didn't ruin you? A reckless choice, a wrong path, yet somehow you were redirected before the consequences devoured you. Angels often intervene in ways we will never know, quietly dismantling dangers we set upon ourselves. Think of the near miss of addiction, the broken relationship that never blossomed, the job opportunity that vanished just before disaster struck. What if rejection itself was protection, the hand of an angel closing a door you begged to open? Sometimes the greatest blessings are hidden in what you lose, and the guardians of heaven are tasked not only with saving your life, but with shaping your destiny. The next part of this journey may reveal something even more staggering. Angels do not only guard individuals, they guard bloodlines, families, and even nations. Throughout history, entire peoples have testified that their survival was due not to their armies or strategies, but to divine protection. From the escape of Israel through the Red Sea to nations spared from conquest against impossible odds, stories echo of unseen forces shifting the balance of power. What if angels are not merely personal guardians, but cosmic stewards of history, ensuring that God's plan moves forward? And if that is true, then every life, including yours, plays into a much larger design. You may think your story is small, but unseen armies may surround you, ensuring you reach the destiny written long before your birth. The next revelation may be the most personal yet, because angels not only shield, they comfort. In your darkest hour, when grief overwhelms and despair crushes the heart, have you ever felt a peace descend without explanation, as if invisible arms wrapped around you, lifting you when no one else could? These moments of unexplainable comfort are signs that angels are near. Countless testimonies describe voices singing in hospital rooms, lights appearing in places of mourning, warmth filling the chest during prayers of desperation. Comfort is not a chemical accident. It is a divine signature, proof that heaven bends low to touch those who suffer. And the most mysterious part is this: you may never know how many times you have already been saved, how many times angels have stood between you and destruction without leaving a trace. But we are only scratching the surface, because what comes next may change how you view the very fabric of reality. If angels are not confined by time or space, then perhaps every moment of your life is surrounded by their watchful gaze, and every decision you make ripples into a cosmic story far beyond your comprehension. They are near in silence, near in chaos, near in every heartbeat you take for granted. And as we peel back layer after layer, the secrets of their presence only grow deeper, darker, and more mysterious. The next revelation awaits, and it will draw you even closer to the hidden truth that angels have been walking beside you all along, waiting for you to finally see. And yet, there is something even more unsettling to consider. What if the protection of angels is not always about saving you from harm, but sometimes about leading you straight into trials you never wanted to face? What if the very moments you thought were crushing you were, in fact, divinely designed to forge you into the person you were meant to become? Imagine a blacksmith hammering iron. Without the fire and the blows, the sword cannot take shape. Could it be that the unseen guardians sometimes stand back, not to abandon you, but to allow your strength to be tested, your faith to be purified, your destiny to be revealed? Think of those nights where you cried out for deliverance and silence was the only answer. Was it silence? Or was it angels standing at the threshold, holding back forces that could have destroyed you, while still allowing you to walk through the valley that would change you forever? The story only grows darker and more mysterious from here, because what comes next uncovers a truth that very few people dare to face. Angels are not always gentle. Consider the terrifying visions recorded by prophets, fiery beings with eyes like lightning, voices like rushing waters, and presence so overwhelming that even the strongest men fell trembling to the ground. These are not the soft figures of modern paintings, but warriors of light whose mere arrival can shake the earth. What if, in moments of great upheaval, the terror you felt in your bones was not fear of danger, but the trembling of your spirit in the presence of the divine? Ancient cultures described these encounters not as comfort, but as awe, an overwhelming flood of power that shattered the illusion of human control. And here lies the paradox. The same beings who comfort the broken can strike terror into kings, because their mission is not to please, but to fulfill the will of God. The next part will be even more shocking, because some traditions suggest that when angels appear in their full glory, they bring not just messages, but glimpses of the end of time itself. Think of it, moments when the veil between heaven and earth thins, when visions of fire, trumpets, and unfolding destinies leak into the ordinary world. Some witnesses speak of storms that carried voices, of fire that spoke without burning, of stars that seemed to move against the heavens. What if every celestial sign in the sky, every eclipse, every meteor shower that left humanity staring upward in awe was not just a natural phenomenon, but an angelic reminder that we are not alone? Astronomers measure the distances of stars, but mystics have long believed that the stars themselves may be the dwelling places of the hosts of heaven, blazing reminders of beings that transcend the boundaries of our world. And here is where the mystery deepens. If angels guard not only individuals, but the very order of the cosmos, then every alignment of the heavens may carry a coded message, a celestial whisper that only those with open eyes can interpret. What comes next will reveal a hidden truth you never expected. Angels may not only be watching us, they may be weaving reality itself. Because think about it. How often have you been in exactly the right place, at exactly the right time, meeting someone whose influence would change the rest of your life? Was that chance, or was the fabric of reality bent, threads pulled together by invisible hands, so that your destiny would intersect with another? Scientists call it probability, synchronicity, chance encounters. But if you look closer, these are not random. They are the fingerprints of orchestration, evidence that your life is part of a design so vast you can barely comprehend it. And the most haunting part is this: if angels can bend time, if they can weave destiny, then perhaps even your mistakes, your detours, your darkest failures were not wasted but redirected into a story written long before you knew it was yours. The story only grows darker and more mysterious from here, because if they can alter destiny, then perhaps they can also rewrite it. Imagine for a moment that the timeline you think you are walking is not fixed but flexible. A choice you made years ago could have led you into ruin, but unseen guardians shifted the path, sealed doors you were desperate to open, and placed obstacles that felt like curses but were actually shields. How many times did you rage at the delay, the loss, the disappointment, not realizing that it was protection disguised as failure? Entire lifetimes may be shaped this way, with angels nudging one life away from catastrophe while steering another toward opportunity. And here is the thought that will leave you restless tonight. What if every what if you ever whispered, every shadow of a road not taken, was already known, already measured, already protected by those who saw the dangers you could not? The next part is even more chilling, because if angels can shift destinies, then perhaps they are also waging war against forces that try to twist them. Ancient texts describe not only angels of light, but also those who fell, corrupted beings who now roam as deceivers. If your guardians fight for your destiny, then perhaps the battles you feel in your spirit, the confusion, the temptation, the sudden heaviness in moments of clarity, are not accidents, but the marks of war in the unseen. Have you ever felt like something was trying to derail you just as you were about to make progress? That crushing wave of doubt, that unexpected obstacle, that strange resistance from nowhere. What if it was the pushback of darkness, sensing that your breakthrough was near? And what if every time you overcame, it was not by your strength alone, but because angels warred in silence, cutting down the forces that wanted you broken? The story only grows darker from here, because what if these battles don't only happen around you, but within you? There is an ancient belief that angels not only guard you externally, but also stand guard over your thoughts. The whispers that pull you toward destruction may not always be your own. They may be seeds planted by shadows. And in those moments when your own mind feels divided, light urging you toward goodness, darkness luring you toward ruin, perhaps what you are experiencing is not just psychology, but warfare. The angel who watches you may be guarding not only your body but your mind, fighting to keep your thoughts aligned with truth when lies press in. And if this is true, then prayer, meditation, and moments of silence are not just rituals. They are battlegrounds where angels and demons wrestle for the space of your soul. What comes next will reveal something even more haunting. The protection of angels is not limited to this lifetime. Some traditions whisper that angels guide souls beyond death itself, standing at the threshold between this world and the next. What if the peace that floods certain people in their final moments is not merely the brain shutting down, but the arrival of messengers sent to carry them safely across? Stories abound of dying individuals lifting their eyes and speaking of radiant beings in the room, of light filling their vision when no lamps burned, of hands reaching out to escort them through the veil. And here is where the mystery deepens still. If angels guard not only your life, but your death, then perhaps their protection extends even into eternity. But the next part will be even more shocking, because if they guide the living and the dying, then what if they also walk in dreams of the unborn, shaping futures before they begin? Imagine an existence before your first breath, where destiny is already whispered into the fabric of your being. Could it be that angels sing over the unborn, guarding the spark of life as it enters the world? Some ancient texts suggest that angels are present at birth, not as observers, but as protectors of the fragile soul entering the storm of existence. And if that is true, then your first cry was not met by silence, but by the chorus of the unseen rejoicing in your arrival. The story only grows darker and more mysterious from here, because if they were there at the beginning, then perhaps they are present in every stage of the human story, from cradle to grave, weaving a narrative you cannot yet understand. But what if this narrative is not limited to humanity? What if angels also guard the very earth beneath your feet? Some traditions claim they are stewards of creation itself, protecting rivers, mountains, and skies from forces of chaos. Could the strange harmony of ecosystems, the survival of forests after fire, or the recovery of oceans after devastation be more than nature healing itself? Could it be angelic stewardship, ensuring that the planet entrusted to humanity does not collapse before its time? And here lies the chilling possibility. If angels guard the earth, then natural disasters, storms and upheavals may not be random. They may be warnings, reminders, or even interventions. What comes next may change how you see every storm, every quake, every flash of lightning, for each may carry the echo of wings. And still, the deeper we look, the stranger the truth becomes. Because if angels guard creation, then perhaps they also guard knowledge itself. How many ideas, inventions, or revelations have come to humanity at just the right time, lifting us forward when darkness threatened to consume us? Could it be that angels inspire not only prophets and visionaries, but scientists, artists, and dreamers? The sparks of genius that appear in dreams, the sudden insight that changes history. What if these are angelic whispers planted to guide civilization toward its destiny? And if so, then perhaps every great breakthrough, from the discovery of fire to the unlocking of DNA, carries the fingerprints of the divine. But the next revelation is even more mysterious. What if angels are not only guiding humanity forward, but also concealing truths we are not yet ready to face? You may have wondered why some mysteries remain hidden, why certain ancient texts were lost, why knowledge vanishes and then reappears centuries later, why the deepest secrets of the universe remain just beyond our reach. Could it be that angels themselves guard the vaults of wisdom, releasing it only when the time is right, when humanity can bear the weight of what it reveals? And if that is true, then the very mysteries we chase, life beyond the stars, the secrets of consciousness, the full story of creation, may already be known, locked away not because they are unattainable, but because they are guarded. And this is where the story grows even darker, because if angels conceal knowledge, then perhaps they also guard against forces that wish to reveal it too soon, forces that would weaponize it before its time. The next part will be even more shocking, because what if right now angels are walking through the halls of power, unseen, steering the decisions of leaders, whispering warnings, and restraining calamity that could spiral the world into chaos? What if the wars that never began, the disasters that were averted, the peace treaties signed at the last possible moment, all carry the imprint of angelic intervention? And if they can influence kings, then they can influence anyone, weaving history in ways we cannot see. The story is far from over, and what comes next may reveal secrets that stretch beyond anything we thought possible. Because the deeper we go, the more it becomes clear. The guardians are everywhere, in every moment, in every breath, and the layers of their protection only grow stranger with every revelation. From the very beginning, we have journeyed deep into mysteries that most people never stop to notice. The quiet presence that stirs the air around you, the whispers that sharpen into warnings, the dreams that carry messages wrapped in symbols, the signs written in numbers. And nature, the strangers who appear just in time, the unseen battles that rage in silence, the moments of protection disguised as rejection, the comfort that descends in grief, the guardianship that spans from cradle to grave, and even the hidden stewardship over creation, knowledge, and history itself. Every story, every testimony, every revelation points to one truth too powerful to ignore: you have never been alone. The wings of heaven have brushed against your life more times than you realize, and angels have stood guard over you in moments you thought were accidents, coincidences, or sheer luck. Now you know they were signs. But this is not just knowledge to keep hidden in your heart. This is a call. If you have felt God's hand guiding you, if you have seen His protection through His messengers, then I urge you, do not stay silent. Go to the comments and write your personal confession. Share a short prayer, a word of thanksgiving, or testify about what God has done in your life. Your story may be the spark that ignites faith in someone who has been searching for hope. Your prayer may be the bridge that carries another soul back to God. Do not underestimate the power of your voice, because when it joins with others, it becomes a chorus that reaches far beyond this video. And I ask you, share this message with at least 10 people or even more. Send it to your family, your friends, your community, because this is not just another piece of content. This is God's word being carried forward. Every time you share, you are extending His blessing. Every soul that watches is another heart awakened, another life transformed, another testimony written into eternity. Imagine the ripple effect: one share leading to 10, 10 leading to 100, 100 leading to thousands. This is how revival begins, not through grand events, but through simple obedience, through people like you choosing to spread the truth. This is urgent because the world is drowning in noise, distraction, and despair, and messages like this are lifelines. If this has stirred your spirit, if it has awakened something inside you, then act now. Confess, pray, testify, share. Let this video not be the end of your encounter, but the beginning of a movement. Remember, when this message reaches more souls, it is not me speaking. It is God teaching, God revealing, God protecting. You are part of that mission. You are part of that holy responsibility. The time is now. The blessing is here. Carry it forward and let the wings of heaven cover countless lives through your faithfulness.